What if I told you that right now, as Prince Harry prepares for one of the most emotionally charged weeks of his life, powerful forces are working behind the scenes to sabotage him? What if I told you that over 1,000 classified documents about his private life are being weaponized as political ammunition? And what if I told you that this is all happening just as Harry is about to make a potentially historic reconciliation with King Charles? Sounds like a conspiracy theory, right? Well, buckle up, because today's story is going to blow your mind. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another explosive episode of Meghan and Harry Tales. I'm Adrian, your host, and if you're new here, this is where we dive deep into the real stories behind the headlines, cutting through the noise to bring you the truth about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Today, we're tackling a breaking update that has everyone talking. It's about Prince Harry, his US visa situation, and how this latest development could impact not just his life in America, but also his potential return to the United Kingdom for some very important family matters. But before we get into it, I want to set the record straight. What you're about to hear isn't just another royal scandal story. This is about understanding the bigger picture, the political games being played, and most importantly, recognizing Prince Harry's incredible resilience in the face of constant scrutiny. So grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let's unpack what's really happening behind these sensational headlines. Let's start with the facts. Reports have emerged revealing that over 1,000 documents connected to Prince Harry's US visa application are now under court review. Yes, you heard that right, over 1,000 documents. Now, this isn't entirely new. Earlier this year, we saw some documents released, but they were so heavily redacted they might as well have been blank pages. Black bars everywhere. It was like trying to read a classified CIA file. The only thing these redacted documents accomplished was fueling more speculation and conspiracy theories. But here's what's different now. The Trump administration has confirmed these files exist, and certain groups, particularly right-wing think tanks, are demanding full transparency. They want everything made public, and the scope is massive. We're talking about hundreds of pages from multiple government departments: the Bureau of Consular Affairs, the Office of the Legal Advisor, the Deputy Secretary of State. This isn't just some routine paperwork. This is a comprehensive file that spans multiple agencies. Now, before the critics start their victory lap, let's put this in perspective. When you're a high-profile individual, especially someone with Harry's background and global connections, enhanced scrutiny is standard procedure. This isn't about Harry being suspicious or problematic. This is about Harry being significant. Think about it. Prince Harry isn't just any immigrant to the United States. He's a former senior royal, a military veteran, someone with global influence and connections to world leaders. Of course, the paperwork is extensive. Of course, multiple departments are involved. That's not unusual, that's protocol. But here's where it gets interesting and, frankly, a bit concerning. The timing of this revelation is suspicious. These documents have existed since 2020, when Harry first moved to the United States. So why are they becoming a major story now? The timing of this visa story is what really gets me thinking. Because this isn't happening in a vacuum. This is dropping right before one of the most significant events of Harry's year, the WellChild Awards in London. For those who might not be familiar, WellChild is an organisation incredibly close to Harry's heart. He's been their patron for over a decade, supporting seriously ill children and their families. This isn't some ceremonial role he inherited, this is personal mission work. Every year Harry shows up to the WellChild Awards not as Prince Harry, but as someone who genuinely cares about these children and their families. He gets down on their level, he listens to their stories, he celebrates their incredible courage. It's one of the few events where you see Harry completely in his element, no royal protocol, no stiff formality, just pure human connection. And here's the kicker. This year's WellChild Awards were already going to be emotionally charged because there have been ongoing private discussions between Harry and King Charles. Yes, you heard that right, peace talks. While the tabloids love to paint the picture of an irreparably damaged father-son relationship, the reality is more nuanced. Behind the scenes, there have been quiet conversations, careful steps toward healing. Charles's health concerns have reportedly played a role in opening these channels of communication. So picture this. Harry is preparing for what could be one of the most important weeks of his recent life. He's getting ready to support the children who mean so much to him at WellChild, while simultaneously navigating delicate family reconciliation efforts with his father. And then conveniently, his visa bombshell explodes across the headlines. Coincidence? I don't think so. This feels calculated. It feels like someone wants to destabilize Harry's focus, create chaos around his UK visit, and potentially sabotage any progress being made with his father. Let's call this what it is: political weaponization. Prince Harry has become a convenient target for certain political groups, and his visa situation is their latest ammunition. But why Harry? What makes him such an appealing target? First, Harry represents something that threatens the establishment radical honesty. In his memoir Spare, in interviews with Oprah, in various public appearances, Harry has been brutally honest about his past. He's talked about his struggles with mental health, his experimentation with substances, his journey through grief and trauma. For most people, this honesty is refreshing. It's real. It shows that even princes are human, that healing is possible, that seeking help is strength, not weakness. But for his critics, this honesty becomes a weapon they try to turn against him. Look, they say, he admitted to drug use. How did he get a US visa? They're trying to frame his transparency as deception, his growth as hypocrisy. But here's what they're missing, and what I think makes Harry extraordinary. He didn't hide from his past. He confronted it. Head on, in public. That takes incredible courage. Most public figures spend enormous amounts of energy hiding their flaws, spinning their mistakes, crafting perfect images. Harry did the opposite. He said, "This is who I was, this is what I went through, and this is how I've grown." That's not a scandal, that's evolution. And let's be real about something else. The people pushing hardest for these visa documents to be public aren't concerned about immigration law. They're concerned about political points. Harry is married to Meghan, a biracial American actress who spoke out against racism. They left royal duties and criticized the institution. Harry called out media racism and tabloid culture. In certain political circles, Harry and Meghan represent everything they oppose: diversity, progressive values, speaking truth to power, putting family and mental health above duty and tradition. So when they attack Harry's visa status, they're not really attacking his paperwork. They're attacking what he represents. But here's what I find most remarkable about Prince Harry: his pattern of resilience. Every single time the establishment tries to knock him down, he gets back up and continues his work. Let's take a walk through Harry's recent history. When he first started talking about mental health openly, he was criticised for being weak and unroyal. Now, mental health advocacy is mainstream, and Harry is recognised as a pioneer. When he married Meghan, the racist coverage was relentless. Death threats, invasive paparazzi, character assassination attempts. The pressure was so intense it reportedly contributed to Meghan's suicidal thoughts. But instead of quietly enduring it, Harry made the radical decision to protect his family and step back. That decision was painted as abandonment, as betrayal, as weakness. But look where we are now. Harry and Meghan have built a new life in California. They're raising their children, Archie and Lilibet, in a more peaceful environment. They've launched Archewell, their foundation focused on creating positive change. Harry continues his military advocacy through the Invictus Games. They didn't just survive the royal exit, they thrived. And now we're seeing it again. Instead of being intimidated by this visa scrutiny, Harry is pushing forward with his commitments. He's still planning to attend WellChild. He's still open to reconciliation with his father. He's not hiding. He's not making excuses. He's not playing victim. That's strength. That's character. And it's exactly why his critics can't actually break him. They can create noise. They can generate headlines. They can try to embarrass him. But they can't stop him from being who he is, a man committed to service, to healing, to family. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say, the king in the room. The relationship between Harry and King Charles is one of the most scrutinised family dynamics in the world, and I get it. We've all watched this story unfold, the loving father and son relationship we saw when Harry was younger, the way Charles walked Meghan down the aisle at their wedding. the gradual deterioration as Harry and Meghan faced increasing pressure and criticism, the explosive revelations in Harry's book about private family conversations. It's been painful to watch, honestly, because at its core, this isn't about royalty or institutions or public duty. This is about a father and son who love each other, but have been torn apart by circumstances, expectations, and outside pressures. But here's what gives me hope. Both Harry and Charles seem to understand that life is precious and family matters more than public perception. Charles's health scare earlier this year was a wake-up call. Suddenly, the petty grievances and hurt feelings seemed less important than the fundamental truth that they're family. Harry reportedly made efforts to communicate with his father during his health challenges, showing that despite everything, the love is still there. And now, with these reported peace talks happening behind the scenes, there's a real opportunity for healing. Not the performative, cameras rolling kind of reconciliation that the media would love to capture, but the quiet, genuine kind that actually matters. Harry's willingness to come back to the UK, to put himself in a potentially uncomfortable situation, shows remarkable maturity. He could easily stay in California, focus on his American life, and avoid the scrutiny and stress of UK visits. But he's choosing to show up for the children at WellChild, and potentially for his father. That takes courage. It takes putting the greater good above personal comfort. So what's the bigger message here? What should we take away from this latest chapter in the Harry saga? I think it's this: authenticity wins in the long run. Harry's approach, radical honesty, prioritizing family, standing up for his values, might create short-term chaos and criticism, but it creates long-term respect and genuine connection. Look at the public response to Harry and Meghan's work. Yes, they have critics, especially in certain media circles and political groups, but they also have enormous support from people who appreciate their authenticity, their advocacy, their willingness to use their platform for positive change, the Invictus Games, their mental health initiatives, their work with veterans, their support for various charitable causes. This is having real impact. This is changing lives. And that's what matters, not the visa headlines, not the political games, not the tabloid drama. What matters is the actual work, the actual impact, the actual good being done in the world. Harry understood something that many public figures never learn. Your critics will always find something to criticize. You can't control that. What you can control is your response, your work, and your commitment to your values. And Harry's response has been consistent. Keep working, keep showing up, keep telling the truth. So as Prince Harry prepares for what could be one of the most significant weeks of his recent life, I want to leave you with this thought. Real strength isn't about never facing criticism or controversy. Real strength is about facing it with dignity and continuing to do the right thing anyway. Harry is walking into a storm right now. Visa scrutiny from one side, family complexity from another, media attention from all angles. But he's walking into it with purpose to support children who need advocates, to potentially heal a relationship with his father, and to continue building the life he and his family deserve. That's not scandal, that's not weakness, that's courage. And that's why, despite all the noise and drama and political games, Prince Harry continues to earn respect from people who value authenticity over performance, growth over perfection, and love over fear. Whatever happens with these visa documents, whatever comes from the peace talks with his father, I'm confident about one thing. Harry will handle it with the same grace and strength he's shown throughout this entire journey. And that, my friends, is why this story isn't really about visas or politics or royal drama. It's about resilience, authenticity, and the power of choosing love over fear. Thank you so much for joining me today on Meghan and Harry Tales. I'm Adrian, and I hope this deep dive helped you see past the headlines to the real story underneath. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think Harry's honesty about his past should be celebrated or criticized? How do you feel about the timing of these visa revelations? And what are your hopes for the potential reconciliation between Harry and King Charles? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one and love hearing different perspectives from our amazing community. If you found this analysis helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more real talk about the stories that matter. And hit that notification bell so you never miss our latest updates. Coming up next week, we'll be diving into Meghan's latest project announcements and what they tell us about the couple's long-term vision for their work in America. Until then, remember, the truth is always more complex and more interesting than the headlines suggest. Keep thinking critically, keep asking questions, and keep supporting authenticity over performance. I'm Adrian. This has been Meghan and Harry Tales, and I'll see you next time.